Yeah, so gorilla tracking in the first is on many people's bucket list, and many have had Uganda, Rwanda, and they associate it to gorillas because gorillas are one of the world's endangered primates. Not so many left, about 2,000 gorillas left in the entire universe, and Uganda happens to have about 50% of the world's remaining gorillas, some also in Rwanda, Congo, and the other Congo countries have gorillas. So most clients always want to come and do that trek, be with these primates, and see the experience. So it's in Uganda and Rwanda, and it's a magical experience. In Uganda, there are two parks offering the gorilla trekking. That is Bwindi and also Mugahinga. It's really, I would say, I've done that trek now, I think, 4 times. And each time I go there, it's a real life changing experience to see the gorillas in their natural habitat and to learn about their ways of life, their feeding, their family structure. Yeah, it's really beautiful. And just to learn about how they live and their family structure and how they carry on with their daily life, it's really touching. And I've had many clients sometimes come again. Some have shed tears on the experience. So yeah, it's a great experience, and we're doing those safaris both in Uganda and Rwanda.
So would you say that traveling slower, doing less, equals seeing more?
Yes, absolutely. Traveling, I would say, slower. It makes you see more, and not only see more, you are able to learn more. Because yeah, you maybe I would say you're going to see. It would be maybe only the gorillas, but you're traveling slower, so you're able to see the gorillas, to see the way of life of the communities in the gorillas, that living by the gorillas, to see the forest, to enjoy the views, and the much time you spend in a place.
Peter, welcome to the Nifty Travel Podcast.
Hello, Alex. Happy to be here. Good morning from Uganda.
Yeah, and good morning from the United Kingdom. One thing I always like to ask is about your earliest memories of travel.
Yeah, happy to be here. My earliest memories of travel, I think, were when I was still a little boy, around the age of, I would say, 15, 14. Where I lived in the eastern part of Uganda, it would be a border to Kenya. There's a beautiful rock there called Tororo Rock. So would travel during the holidays to go hike the rock. And it was always beautiful. I always looked up to the holidays. I always looked up to go climb the rock and would see the Tororo town from up the rock. I loved it, and happy enough when I grew a bit older, I also, because of those memories, I would spend much of my time at the rock, and I worked as a porter there sometimes. Then those are my nice early memories.
No, that sounds very nice. So what was it like growing up in Uganda?
Growing up in Uganda, I would say it was beautiful, and is still very, very beautiful. As young kids, I would say we got a lot of times to play, to chat during the holidays. School time, school time. Growing up would be in school, primary school. We started from nursery school to primary school, secondary school, to university. I would say all that childhood time, the moments of going to school to learn a new language, to learn English, to learn about the history, religious education, sometimes geography, and would learn about lakes, rivers, cultures. It was really nice growing up learning in Uganda.
Yeah. Eventually, and now you're running a travel company, but of course that wasn't your first step. You first became a ranger. So Can you tell us how that came about?
Yeah, I think after my high school, then I went to university. So when I was in university, would apply for internships, and my dream was to do internship in a conservation area. I wanted to see how the rangers were carrying up with the works of conservation, treating animals, the wildlife. Yeah, so in my second year of university, I applied to be a intern in one of the parks. It's called Maxon Falls National Park in the north. So during my internship, I learned a lot of wildlife conservation, species identification, guiding. So yeah, after my intern, I remember going back to campus and I wrote back to Wildlife Authority and I told them after campus, I would like to come and work with you, and they will welcome to me. That's how I joined the Uganda Wildlife Authority as a ranger guide. First at Maxon Falls, then from Maxon Falls to a park northeast called Kidepo Valley National Park.
Yes. So at some point, you decided, well, actually, I'd quite like to arrange travel. So what changed inside of you? What did you see?
Yeah, my times as a ranger, first I was based in the national parks, where I would bring clients. Would not bring, but clients, tour companies would come with clients and we guide them to the national park. We're doing conservation work, community work by that time. My first workplace was Maxon Falls National Park. I would say it's the biggest national park in Uganda and the second visited national park in Uganda. So I would see lots of traffic of clients coming to see the falls, which is the strongest falls in Africa. It had a big four, the lion, it had the lion, the elephants, the leopard. Yeah, and the buffaloes too, very big herds of buffaloes. So I would see lots of traffic. Then my second work point was Kidepo Valley National Park. Far in the north, I would say, far in the north, not easy to reach, and would be there and would see not very many clients coming once in a while, some clients, and the little time I spent to Kidepo, I saw it was really, really a beautiful place because it's far in the north, and I would say it's still authentic, it's still unattached destination. I would say very few people. It has a great history, great community around called the Karamojong. They look alike to the Maasai in Tanzania, so it's very untouched, and I would say very few numbers coming. But in my heart, I was like, this is the place where I think guests should be spending most of their time. The rich culture, the less numbers. So the other parks are very crowded, and it's what was in my dreams, to see clients in a less, I would say, crowded place where they can come, spend lots of time, slow down, and maybe visit communities, learn about the community life. So my work there exposed me to a lot. Yeah, I was learning some photography, things like that. So I would take good photos and I would post on my social medias to show the guests coming to Uganda that apart from gorillas, apart from the Maxon Falls, apart from Queen Elizabeth, there is a beautiful game in the northeast without the crowds you get in other parks. You can be the only jeep in the park, a rich culture, beautiful communities for tourism. And yeah, that's how I would post, and I would get people inquiring and say, oh, but is this a national park? And I would say yes, but why is it when we in Uganda it's less talked about? And they would come visit and say, wow, this is the game to be. No crowds, nice culture, nice wildlife. And yeah, that's how I started selling trips.
No, it sounded like you grew into the role.
Yeah, because I would be, as a guide, I would get many guys wanting to come. Many people didn't know about the place. So yeah, as a ranger by that time, I would get many inquiries, and this is when I said I can now leave the ranger job and concentrate on my two operations with a dream to sell basically these not only that destination, but there are also other destinations that are not much talked about. Yeah, but they are off the beaten path where maybe you go to a gorilla and go to a community that's not much talked about, but it has the authenticity, it has the real African touch. Nice way to feel the nature, the culture, interact with the communities. Yeah.
Mm. And I see today you have lots of people helping you. So you obviously like people. So what's the secret?
Yeah, I think I would say like made many people being around me. It's when I start doing these trips, I my dream was and it would always be my passion to show people around my beautiful country. Because if someone maybe even if might not can, even if from the same country, but to show them maybe my region, where I come from, the hidden games I knew. So when I would get clients, it would be always my happiness to take them to these places, to take them to feel a nice culture and see the interaction of culture. And yeah, that's why I would love to be around people and I would like to be around people. So we show them a beautiful culture, beautiful food, the different tastes the food maybe you've heard of. Yeah, and that's how I get to be around people most of the time because I would like to teach them and show them.
Yeah, excellent. So you started touring within Uganda, but at some point it made sense to you to also offer tours in Rwanda, Kenya, and um, Tanzania. So um, what inspired you to expand to East Africa as a whole?
Yeah, initially we were doing safaris in Uganda, but in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, I would say in Rwanda, we're like in East Africa, so we together, we brothers and we sisters, we neighbors, so we friends. And the open door policy where you can tourists can get a visa to the East African countries. They can visit maybe Uganda for wildlife, go to the Serengeti, go to Masai Mara to see the great wildebeest migration, do run gorilla Rwandas. So yeah, it made us expand, and sometimes we'd get clients landing from Kigali and would like to cross to Uganda to do gorillas, and would like also our zeal to diversify and show our guests multiple choices of destinations to visit, to experience the culture in Uganda, in Rwanda, and see that we are one. Yeah, made us expand.
Yeah. Now, one thing that comes up a lot from our point of view, from a tourist point of view, is that people think of gorilla trekking as one of the top uh, things that they think about. So you can do trekking in Uganda and Rwanda. So can you tell me a bit about the trekking and what differences there are in terms of where you do the trekking?
Yeah, so gorilla tracking in the first is on many people's bucket list, and many have had Uganda, Rwanda, and they associate it to gorillas because gorillas are one of the world's endangered primates. Not so many left, about 2,000 gorillas left in the entire universe, and Uganda happens to have about 50% of the world's remaining gorillas, some also in Rwanda, Congo, and the other Congo countries have gorillas. So most clients always want to come and do that trek, be with these primates, and see the experience. So it's in Uganda and Rwanda, and it's a magical experience. In Uganda, there are two parks offering the gorilla trekking. That is Bwindi and also Mugahinga. Certainly, I would say I've done that trek now, I think, 4 times. And each time I go there, it's a real life changing experience to see the gorillas in their natural habitat and to learn about their ways of life, their feeding, their family structure. Yeah, it's really beautiful, and just to learn about how they live and their family structure. And how they carry on with their daily life. It's really touching, and I've had many clients sometimes come again. Some have shed tears on the experience. So yeah, it's a great experience, and we're doing those safaris both in Uganda and Rwanda. What we adding on to those safaris, what makes, I would say, gorilla trekking special, not only seeing the gorillas, but the whole safari itself. The gorillas live in the mountain areas, the mountain forests, like we have the mountainous forest, like Bwindi is a dense forest but mountainous. So in the early ages, there were a few communities living in these forests. So just apart from going to see the gorillas, passing through these communities and learning about their ways of life, how they survived in the forests, how they've been living with the gorillas, how they still use the authentic way of life, making their own steel, making fire from stones, cooking without salt, this, and yeah, how they live the jungle life. That's what adds value to the gorilla trek. It's really safari worth it.
Ah, right. So it's actually a combination of many activities to see the habitat and the environment in which people live.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So another animal that gets people excited are chimpanzees.
Oh,
I was reading that the other day that that they are like humans in a certain respect, in that they have agreements and disagreements. And at the moment,
there
I'm
is a
told there are two camps
two
of.
camp chimpanzees in the Chivali side are in a Cold War.
So I guess that the animals are moving around quite a bit, aren't they?
Yeah.
So going to see them isn't always it doesn't take the same amount of time. It rather depends where they are.
Yes, please. So the chimpanzees also, we Uganda's is a beautiful country. We honored to have the chimpanzees. Chimpanzees are our closest human relatives. So in Uganda we call them our relatives because we share up to 95% of DNA with the chimpanzees. In Uganda there is a joke that say the chimpanzees are our relatives that feared to pay rent, so they went to live in the jungles and the forests. So they are our closest relatives, and I would say they are humans. Just they are humans in the jungles.
Mm.
So in Uganda also there are amazing activity of chimpanzee trekking, going to the forest, trek in the dense forest to see the chimpanzees, to see their life, and when you go to the trek, you realize, yeah, these are our closest relatives. They live in families, with the head also being a dad, the moms, like the children, a close family feeding on top of the trees. Their life is really, really touching, and it's a nice experience to see them. Right now, there's a trend going on because they live in family structures, and sometimes they are territorial conflicts because this family might be from a different clan and this one from a different clan, and sometimes there are conflicts of food, and there's ongoing social media saying there is two groups on a fierce war for territory in Congo side of Chivale Forest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's part of life, isn't it? Competing for, as you say, food and resources.
Yeah.
So another thing that people like doing is looking for birds, because bird trekking is becoming more popular.
Yes.
Um, where do you see the best places to go and watch birds?
Yeah, in Uganda, there are many, many birds. There are some birds endemic to Uganda, like the Karamojonga Palace, and many, many more. So, Uganda has over, I would say, over 2,500 species of birds. Some are endemic, some are migratory birds, and they come during seasons. So there are many beautiful places to watch birds in Uganda, and I would say the top Mabamba. There's Mabamba Island, Mabamba Swamp on Lake Victoria, having the famous shoebill, and lots of birds like the pied kingfisher. You'll see the kingfishers, the shoebill itself. It's a magical bird that lives in the swamp, and it's a solitary bird, very big, with a shoebill like bill. Yeah, feeding on fish, lungfish, catfish. So many clients come to see that, and there are other beautiful bird watching destinations like the Kidepo Valley National Park in the far north. It's also having lots of endemic species and migratory birds crossing sometimes from Kenya to South Sudan. Yeah, also the Queen Elizabeth is one of the most visited places in Uganda for bird watching. Just in the park, as you do the game drives, you can combine game drives, the Ishasha sector, lots of forests, the Maramagambo forest, the Kazinga channel. It's one of the great activities to watch birds as you ride on the channel, watching wildlife and lot of water birds.
Yeah, no, it sounds like there's a lot of choice and a lot of ways to have close encounters.
They are very close because on the boat safari, usually between the Kazinga channel, you watch birds, and there are many birds that build their nests on the water shores. So lots and lots of species like the hammercock, the fishers are always on the waters, and the scavengers too.
Now, you mentioned the parks. There are lots of parks in Uganda and throughout East Africa. What do you see as the main challenges to managing them and looking after and protecting the animals? Because the animals, they don't see boundaries, do they? How do you think things are developing?
Yeah, there are many parks. In fact, Uganda, we have 10 parks. Uganda, we have 10 parks. Every park has something different it offers. There are the gorilla parks, that is Bwindi, Mugahinga, the main wildlife parks, Maxon Falls, Queen Elizabeth, Chidepo. There are the mountain parks like Rwenzori Mountains, where you have a chance to hike in maybe 7 days or 6 days to the peak, that is Margarita. There's the Mount Elgon, also a hiking park, and lots of waterfalls. I think on my side, not too many challenges in the park since Uganda is still, I would say, hidden game, and not lots of cruiser traffic. So I think it's one of the countries you can be in and be less crowds when you're doing safaris. But the crowds are growing, and I think that is a growing challenge. So it's why we solving this by selling the less known parks, the far north parks where you go, not too many crowds, but you're not doing only park safaris and also you're doing community. So what we're doing right now to avoid maybe sometimes the crowds in the parks, we do wildlife, but we're doing also community tours. So if a client maybe is coming for a gorilla trek, they can do a gorilla trek, and the next day, maybe not in the park, but maybe have a homestay somewhere, experience the culture around the parks. So in a way, you're supporting the communities within the park areas.
Yeah, I was really thinking about, I suppose, farming because you know, isn't there there is a play, isn't there, between the natural world and the human need
Yeah.
to do farming? How do you think that balance works?
Yeah, later there are farmings around the parks, but not too much. Maybe I think that there are some times of wildlife and human encounters or community encounters. Sometimes wildlife crossing from the parks to maybe to the gardens of the farmers. But of later, the wildlife authorities are discouraging lots of farming, maybe on the edges of the national parks or conservation areas, and also no farming in the parks. So how these communities are changing maybe from their farming and the parks these days during their recruitments, they give priority to the communities. If they are recruiting rangers, if they are recruiting maybe porters or anything within the parks, they recruit from the community. So the community also benefiting from tourism, and are doing they do their farming, but with the mind that maybe they are human encounters with wildlife, so they benefit from the tourism and they are mindful of the animals and are there to protect the animals.
Mm. So would you say that they're acting as custodians?
Yeah, I would say basically they are custodians because they have seen the value of tourism. They have seen the values of the clients coming around. They sell the souvenirs, some craft. They make chairs from timber, crafts. I would say wooden glasses, wooden toys, and yeah, they benefit from tourism, selling souvenirs. Some restaurants around the local restaurants, clients would come and want to taste the local cuisine and see how this is made, how this is done. Yeah, so basically, they because of the benefits of tourism in them, they protect the wildlife.
Yeah, no. Well, it's a good partnership to develop.
Yeah,
So, in terms of the safaris themselves, what would you say? Because you offer many styles of safaris that people can go on. What would you say makes a safari family friendly, or what makes it uh, suitable for someone traveling on their own or a honeymoon couple? You know, they're very difficult. They're very different. Sorry, kinds
yeah,
of people coming. How do you decide what is suitable and structure it for very different people?
yeah. We selling safaris, I would say, to everyone. So, but right now we get different groups. We get maybe couples, we get school kids, we get volunteers. They all coming to see wildlife, to enjoy culture, to enjoy birds. So we're doing basically a lot of tailored safaris with emphasis to eco safaris, and I would say deep safaris. We're not doing the I would say safaris where we get those inquiries too. Sometimes we help them all the time, but we're promoting a lot of deep travel in Uganda, where someone is not coming only for wildlife, they are coming also to interact with the communities, to watch birds, to see the ways of life, to promote conservation. So we get them, but we get all clients and we tailor them, but we make them understand that we are not just doing a checklist safari. In this safari, we are here maybe to help this school, maybe to help these communities to do it. Yeah, and that is the clientele we really serving, and we tailoring for them the safaris.
Mm. So when it comes to interactions with the communities, uh, how do they work? You talk about having deeper relationships with them. Obviously, there are differences in languages here. How do you structure interactions with local communities?
Yeah, all our safaris we do, we have a community visit. We have a community visit to feel the culture, to see the way of life. So while we're doing this, we help in some communities. Sometimes take the kids to school, have basic needs, maybe build a borehole. So when we take these clients, it's just we just show them it's not about only wildlife in Uganda, but they are more. It's more than wildlife. So we have maybe if you're going for gorilla trekking, we have the endemic people who lived in the forests with gorillas before, and you got to see their ways of life. So how we bring in this interaction, we do a lot of. We would like our safaris to be educative. So the clients all our guests are going to the communities to learn, to feel life. Yeah, basically that, to learn, to feel life. And the communities are also happy to receive them because they are proud of their community, of their culture, of their way of life. So they are proud to show the guests and show them we are brothers, we are sisters in this, and to show they are proud to show their life, and they are happy always to receive the guests. So they are happy to sell their culture out. So sell maybe their shoes, their food. You taste food, and it's really, really delicious and organic food from Africa.
Yeah, yeah. You encourage guests to have conversations with the local community and have direct conversations.
Yes, yes, we have always sometimes some of these communities that don't know these languages we speak, but there's always direct interaction. So it's a community that guests get to learn about the ways of life in the community, the cultural norms and everything, and also the communities also get to hear about life on the other side of the world and appreciate life. Yeah. We always have interactions. Sometimes we have homestays where guests can slow down a bit and stay in a homestay maybe for 2 to 5 nights, and they take part in the daily life of this community. Wake up, fetch firewood, clean, sweep the compound, go take the cows for grazing, go do some farming, maybe bananas, cut down bananas, go to the well, so they feel life and yeah, see how it's nice living beside.
Yeah. Well, it's good when it comes to food. It's good to know where food comes from, isn't it? Uh,
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So it's good to know we have like I would say coffee. Many guests always come to Uganda and say, I love the Ugandan coffee. I've been taking the Ugandan coffee maybe for years. So it's good when they come here to see the process of seedling to the mature coffee, harvesting, drying it, roasting, and grinding it with the local mortars this side. Yeah, it's amazing, especially when it comes to food. All the bananas, we make from not bananas, we're not eating only the bananas, we're making juice, we're making flour, we're making banana cakes. Yeah, and also alcohol, the local brews are made from banana.
oh wow! No, I mean it sounds no, it sounds very exciting. So I was going to ask you about trekking versus nature walks. Uh,
Yeah,
so trekking springs to mind. It takes a little longer. Uh, sometimes it'd be a little.
sure.
Sometimes it takes a long time. It's a bit harder. Whereas nature walks gives the impression that it's an easier. Yeah, it's an easier thing to do. So how would you describe it, and do you sort of tailor it to um, the capability of the people visiting?
Yeah, we have trekking activities and we also have nature walk. I would say trek is a nature walk. A trek is a nature walk because we are all in nature. You're trekking nature, maybe if you're doing the gorilla trekking. This you're always having a set target of the day. We're trekking to see the gorillas, or we're trekking to see the chimpanzee or the golden monkeys. So you trek maybe it can be more tough, sometimes mountainous, like in Bwindi, in dense forests, with a goal to see nature, to see maybe the target if it's the gorillas and something. And it's a beautiful time to be in nature. You get to learn about trees, the endemic trees, the side, the medicinal trees, eat wild fruits, and also sometimes see the gorillas, see the chimpanzees, and enjoy nature. And the nature walk is, I would say, because I said it's a trek, it's also beautiful, although more lighter sometimes, maybe a short birding excursion on a good terrain, maybe by the riverside or the lakeside. Yeah.
Mm. Well, there are many ways to enjoy nature, aren't there? Now, one thing, one group of people um, that like to go visit countries like to do a bit of volunteering. How do these trips play out? What are the meaningful ways that people can help in this kind of travel?
Yeah, that travel, I would say, for volunteering or humanity. In Uganda, we welcome lots of volunteers, and we're having always these trips coming, especially in the holidays, and we prioritizing volunteering many sectors, sometimes education, medical care, business side, and lots of volunteers coming up. Like currently, we have a program where we're having volunteers coming in to teach the French language to some schools. It's school time this side, so they come volunteer, and since their teachers also feel life in the schools, teach maybe the French language. Yeah,
So no, it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity there.
there are lots of opportunities to come volunteer, and it's also you come volunteer and explore the country, but also as you enjoying nature, you're adding value to the country. You live when some kids can are able to speak French, and in 10 years time, maybe after their high school, they are now French speaking guides and are able to take maybe French clients around in while speaking the French. So yeah, we're having in medical camps sometimes of tourists come to not only explore nature but sometimes maybe hold a medical camp. So there are many opportunities, I would say, in all sectors.
Now, one thing you can do is to go up mountains. So, what opportunities would you say there are for people who like to climb mountains?
The hikers, I would say, there are opportunities in Uganda. One is to hike, I would say, Africa's tallest peak, that is the Margarita. Renzori takes about 7 days. Lots of waterfalls to see, the Mahoma waterfalls, the Charles waterfalls, lots and lots, and also to experience nature. There are some primates down, the monkeys, lots. So I would say it's perfect for hikers. Then there is next to it the Mugahinga Gorilla Park. There are three peaks, so you can hike to the Sabinyo Peak, the Mount Muhavura Peak. Sabinyo is very, very interesting that when you are at the peak, you are in three countries at the same time. So you're in Rwanda, you're in Uganda, and you're in Congo. It's also a nice place for hikers. In the eastern part of Uganda, we have the Mount Elgon, with its peak Wagagai, the Wagagai Peak. It's also a nice hike, lots of waterfalls. The Sabine culture below the mountain is a really, really beautiful culture with nice food and the coffee farms on the slopes of the mountains. It's a nice hike too.
Well, you've mentioned coffee at least twice. So, is coffee an important drink in Uganda?
Yes, coffee is an important drink, but not only drink the product coffee. There are lots of coffee farmers, because in the slopes of the mountains in the west, the Kigezi region, it's mountainous. There are coffee growing people. Then in the east, on the slopes of Mount Elgon, they grow robusta coffee. So it's a main big cash crop, and the drink itself is a popular and very much enjoyed drink in Uganda.
Mm, yeah. Well, you're making me jealous just by thinking of the aroma.
Do you take some coffee?
Yeah, I like coffee. Yeah, I also like tea.
Yeah, tea is also grown in Uganda. I would say in the Fort Poto Chigezi place, there are very, very big community tea plantations.
Yeah, yeah. Now, one thing you mentioned that caught my eye was that you describe some parts of Uganda as being dog friendly. Now, uh, is that really sort of tailored more towards domestic tourism? Because I can't see myself being allowed to take my dog with me.
Yeah, I think Ugandans love dogs, especially domestic dog. I have two dogs, Jamie and Johnson. Yeah, so there are many places that are dog friendly, though there are conservation areas that don't allow dogs in because of the wildlife interactions. But many people have dogs and they keep dogs for security, friends, touring, moving with them around in the car, sometimes for nature walks, for trekking. Yeah, many places are dog friendly, and it's a nice place to come with a dog.
Mm. Now, talking about domestic tourism, do you think that there has been a rise in people who already live in East Africa that are traveling to each other's countries?
Yeah, yeah, domestic tourism, I would say, is picking up in East Africa. Since of the open border policy, an East African, a Ugandan, I can easily move to Rwanda. I can easily move to Kenya, Tanzania with no border restrictions. We can do business together, and it's growing trend. So Rwandese, because of the open border policy, can come into Uganda and live in for some time. We speak almost same languages. I can go to Tanzania, visit friends. Ugandan can go work in Tanzania. Tanzanian can come work in Uganda. So people always moving to visit relatives, to see nature because of the open border policy.
Yeah. No, no, it's good. It's good to encourage, isn't it? You mentioned history. How close a relation would you say history has to travel?
Yeah, I would say history has a big relationship to travel, especially our history in Uganda, and I would say East Africa has driven our its tourism and I would say trade because most of the guests coming to Uganda come because maybe we are English speaking, we can understand each other's language, and this came from our history, from I would say maybe the colonialists who were ruling our countries before, like in Rwanda, they speak French, Congo, there's some Belgium. Yeah, and so because of that travel, that history, we're able to interact in the same countries. Some, because of history, we have the Queen Elizabeth National Park that was named Queen Elizabeth from Kazinga when the Queen visited the park back in 1953. History and guests are always coming to learn about our history, to see the historical monuments, maybe the independence monuments, the source of the Nile, things like that. So, yeah, it's driven our tourism a lot.
Yeah, and some good museums to go visit in Kampala.
Yeah, there is the Uganda Museum, having I would say the cars used by the first presidents, to see the backcloth making, the traditional clothes, the traditional pots, lots of artifacts. Also, there is the Buganda Kingdom Museum. Buganda is the biggest kingdom in Uganda, and there are lots of history they have kept, so you can go and see how the kings lived, the king's spears, the king's homes.
Now you mentioned the Nile, so and I've seen pictures of boat cruises.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so River Nile, the world's longest river, has the source in Uganda in a place called Jinja. It's believed that the source it comes from Jinja, but it comes from the Lake Victoria. So you have a chance to do a boat safari on the Lake Victoria to go and see where this river starts from Jinja, flowing through Uganda, through Sudan, through Ethiopia, all the way to the Mediterranean Sea in Egypt. Yeah, and on these falls you can do lots of activities. It has one of the best places to do whitewater rafting in the world. Do a tubing, go see the falls in Maxon Falls from the River Nile. Yeah.
So how long are the river trips? Are they sort of generally short trips? Can people go on longer ones?
Yeah, I would say short trips, maybe a 3 days trip to go to the source of the Nile. Some I would like to do a long trip, sometimes taking about 90 days from the source of the Nile through from to Maxon Falls. You follow the water, maybe a boat trip from Uganda to the Mediterranean Sea in Egypt.
Oh, wow. Well, that would be an adventure to do the whole thing.
Long.
Now, some people are very adventurous. They need to do energetic things. So I noticed that you mentioned whitewater rafting. There's also places for people to go cycling. So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, around just in the Jinja where the source of the Nile starts, there are lots of, I would say, adventurous activities. There is rafting on the Nile, one of the great experiences. Go face the rapids, the falls on the Nile raft, and it's an adrenaline activity, nature blowing, mind blowing. Yeah, nice cycling along across on the banks of the Nile. You can start from the source to some falls. There's the Busoko Falls, the Itanda Falls, Makwanzi Falls, lots of falls. So you can cycle all the way on the Nile and experience adventure. There's water tubing, there's bungee jumping, where guys jump and they say, kiss the Nile, jump to the Nile. There's bungee jumping, and there are lots of adventure activities, water biking on the Nile.
Yeah. Well, cycling is it's very therapeutic. It's much, well, it's quicker than walking, but it still feels slow. You can take everything in, right?
Yeah, you enjoy the nature, you enjoy the communities around. You cycle with the history of the Nile. It's really nice.
And of course, another way to look at the countries is up in balloons. Is that something you recommend?
The hot air balloons.
Mm.
Yeah, we're not having them in Uganda, but we're doing them in countries of Masai Mara, Serengeti, and the Tarangire. Yeah, it's. I would recommend. It's a nice activity, one that brings you very close to nature. So you see the nature from up on the skies, and you can appreciate how the wildlife lives. Come very close to this wildlife.
And usually they start early in the morning.
Yeah, they start very early in the morning, around I would say around 6 a.m. Most safari activities start early in the morning because you're able to appreciate and see how the wild animals start their day to enjoy the sunrise. It's the best times to see maybe the cats.
But I think too, it's not just to look, is it? It's also to listen. Uh, the importance of listening to the world around us.
Yes. And it's much morning. It's much calm. Lots of birds singing.
Yeah, you must stop talking and listen more because you understand about the life, don't you? Now, I was going to talk about where people stay. What kind of accommodation can people expect? Because it's probably one of those things, they don't know quite what they're going to get. So, what can you tell us about the kind of accommodation people can stay in?
So in our safaris, there are a variety of accommodations to do, but we're selling only eco-friendly safari resorts that have attached to sustainability, to conservation, and they are ecally built and habitat. They are not built maybe to hurt the environment, but they are there to conserve the environment, ethnic trees around them, the local foods. Yeah, those are the type of accommodations they should expect on our safaris with comfort in them, but with a touch to the community. We do sometimes ecologies in these nature places next to a forest, so you can stay, have a forest view, and in the morning go into the forest and see how life goes on in the forest. Enjoy the birds, some forest animals.
Do you think visitors need advice around what they should take? Because in my own personal experience, one can take too much luggage. What do you advise?
Yeah, it's we park. We advise some parking light most of the time, but parking essentials since sometimes you come into nature, the insect repellent, nature blending clothes, the long sleeved, light nature, the caps, sometimes the shade, hiking boots, that are nature blending because you're not I would say you're coming to experience nature, but also not to stress the animals. So sometimes the birds are not using very bright colors. So we recommend nature blending clothes for the morning. Sometimes the longer ones to avoid the insect bites. Yeah, but park light. Sometimes we also encourage our clients to park things that can support the communities, like books, sometimes footballs for the young children to play with. Yeah.
Mm, no, no, that's helpful advice. So, when it comes to traveling within East Africa, um, how how do you organize that? How is it uh, all in small vans? How do you organize it?
We organizing trips, and since the terrain in Africa is a bit tough, we have the safari jeeps, we call them the extended land cruisers, that can take up to 7 people per jeep. Yeah, it's comfortable. There are four by four Land Cruisers with big water bottles, because we're not giving out plastic water bottles to every client, because there will be a lot of dumping around. So we're doing big water bottles, and we offering big sustainable bottles. So we travel with the extended Land Cruisers because of the hard terrain, and also to ensure clients have window view.
People should expect quite a bit of traveling though, because there is the world is a big place, and if you're driving a lot, um, there's a lot of time required to go between places.
They are long drives. I would say, like the drive from maybe Entebbe airport in cities of Kampala to reach the gorillas takes about, I would say, 8 hours on the road. But it's a beautiful drive. You're passing through the equator. Lots of, I would say, communities on the drive. Lots of domestic animals, the cattle keeping areas, the landscapes. It's a beautiful and rewarding drive, but they are, I would say, long and rewarding drives.
Yeah, yeah. Now, in terms of the experience, people are becoming more becoming more aware. They're becoming they've been filled with a desire that the experiences themselves are as important as choosing the destinations. So, how do you go about um, fulfilling people's desire for different experiences.
Yeah, very true. The experiences are very much important, like the destinations. Different destinations offer different experiences. We're going about that by one listening to the guests. We get time when a guest, you get maybe a guest inquiring about an experience. We get time to have a call or a deep chat with them and hear what experiences they want to have in Africa, coming for a honeymoon, for deep cultural interactions, coming maybe for a gorilla trek, bird watching. We get time to understand them and make our recommendations to the clients based on the experience and expertise and the weather conditions and everything. And from these recommendations, we are able to discuss with the client, match and see what they are requiring for. We are able to tailor the safari to their needs based on our recommendations and our principles of sustainability, authentic wildlife interactions, and community interactions.
So I guess what I'm getting at is, how would you like guests to feel?
Yeah, we would always want guests to feel at the moment when where they are in the safari. We like guests to learn about the destination, to appreciate nature as it is, to appreciate the way of life. It's always our feeling for our guests. We always want them to create memories, not from just only the wildlife, from the places, from the community, from the food, from the guide, from the country. So we always wanting to create memories.
Yeah. So something that's almost is inside of them by the time they go home.
Yes, please.
So in terms of travel generally, how do you see that the industry is changing or evolving? No, you've been running your company for about six years, I believe. How's it changed for you in the last 6 years? Uh, and what does the future look like?
Yeah, of late, I would say travel is changing for the better. Many people are traveling, and I would appreciate, and I would say in Uganda, and I would say many destinations, we're starting to get clients who are much, I would say, wanting to travel deeper, who are seeking for authentic experiences. So I would say the world and the travel trend is changing to that. Clients are seeking for more authentic experiences, more sustainable travel, lots of ecologies, and they are wanting to learn about destinations. They are not visiting just because they want to tick a bucket list or come from. They are coming for to learn about the destinations, to learn about the culture, to feel the destination, and they want this in the raw way, the authentic way. And I'm really happy for that, and we are aligning ourselves, and it's our dream to sell such experiences where our clients are coming and wanting to spend more time, to travel deeper, not just saying I'm going for wildlife, 2 days in Action Falls, but they want to see how has the community in Action Falls been, apart from the animals in Action Falls, how is the community living, how is the Nile affecting or improving life within the community. Yeah.
Mm, absolutely. And what would you like to see happening next?
Yeah, what I would like to see happening next is more of these clients, I would say, coming who much into conservation and authentic experiences, and I would like to see us, the safari operators, offering much of those experiences, authentic way, conservation-driven trips, sustainable safaris is what I really want to see.
Yeah. And you mentioned a little while ago about, journeys shouldn't be about ticking boxes. So would you say that traveling slower, doing less, equals seeing more?
Yes, absolutely. Traveling, I would say, slower. It makes you see more, and not only see more, you are able to learn more. Because you maybe I would say you're going to see. It would be maybe only the gorillas, but you're traveling slower, so you're able to see the gorillas, to see the way of life of the communities in the gorillas, that living by the gorillas, to see the forest, to enjoy the views, and the much time you spend in a place. There is a lot. Apart from just the gorillas, the food. There is a lot to experience in a destination.
Yeah. And when you're not on duty, Simon, what does an ideal day look like for you?
So my ideal day right now is I'm a safari guide. I'm also a tour operator. So if I'm in office, I'm helping clients create packages, tailor their safaris, and in the field, I'm taking people around my beautiful Uganda. On up, I would say days when I'm not basically at work. I would say it remains almost like work. I'm maybe taking a nature walk somewhere. I'm reading maybe about a certain bird species, so it's a destination, maybe a plant. So my free time, I'm always doing that. I would maybe say last time I was on a safari to Maxon Falls, and maybe I did see this tree somewhere, so I would go and want to know much about the tree. If it was a bird, maybe I didn't know. My free time, that's what I would do. I would try to visit back the place and see if I can get the bird and learn about its way of life, so I can be able to sell and tell my clients next time about it.
Well, it seems like you live and breathe Uganda.
Yeah. Discover more to see. There is a lot like in this. There are birds, insects, lots. Alright.
Fantastic. Well, it's been amazing having a chat to you, Simon. We seem to have covered a great deal. No, I really appreciate you coming on to have a chat to us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for hosting me to talk about our beautiful country. I'm really happy to be part of this, and I'm happy for your work for championing more authentic experiences, sustainable tourism. I'm happy for that.
No, you're most welcome.
Thanks so much.